Jordan, arrow pointing up. You want to start or do you want me to start?
I will start. Arrow pointing up. I have three this week. Arrow pointing up. We mentioned them right before we went to the break. Georgia baseball,
Mm-hmm.
42 wins this season, 22 SEC wins. That is a program record. Shout out to they're 2-0 since they clinched the SEC, and even me, who's not on the beat, but I pay attention to what they're doing. You kind of wonder if they might kind of ease through the end of that LSU series or this series at Auburn. Nah, man, pedal to the metal. Wes Johnson. I mean, they've had three straight wins, three straight seasons, I should say, of 40 plus wins. They've won 10 in a row. I kind of look at the NCAA tournament in baseball like basketball, where you want to be hot at the right time. Ben, I really like this Georgia baseball team. I think they got a chance to make some noise in the postseason.
I agree. When you're hearing other coaches say that the character makeup of a team is the type of team that makes runs and wins championships in college baseball, I think that's typically a good sign. Baseball is a little fickle though. You still got to find a way to win these next, the regional, super regional. It's easier said than done.
Arrow pointing up, NFL schedule releases. I always
Oh, yeah.
enjoy this point in the year. Haven't had a chance to watch the Chargers one, but I know they always go all out. The Titans did well again. I don't know if you saw that one, Ben. They just had people walking around Nashville and like finding people who looked like either players or owners, or they found a guy that looked like Big Dom with the Eagles, and that was sort of their schedule release like that. Falcons one was fun. They kind of did like a This Is Sports Center thing. Jalen Walker was kind of the star of a couple of them. We saw our old pal Steve Drummond. He was in one of
Yes,
them,
sir.
just kind of a background actor. But I love that time of year. Shout out to the Jets. Did like a paint. I don't know. Did you see that where they
I
kind of
was gonna
did the
say what I learned from schedule releases is that I love whatever. I know that is an Instagram genre that I didn't really know about, but these paint videos where they just mix paint and then it turns into something else. I was like, I didn't know that I was an audience member of this until now, but I definitely am because I think the Jets was my favorite one because I sat there and watched it like 3 times just to watch the change of everything.
No, really enjoyed that. I thought everybody nailed that. The last one. This is going to be interactive, Ben. Have you played GeoSports? Have you seen this
Yeah,
game?
I have. Yeah, I have.
So I'll ask this: have you done Friday's edition? Because if not,
No.
let's do it live right
All
now.
right.
Let's work on it together. For those who are listening, this is a new game, Geosports.app, that kind of has taken at least my friends by storm, and I know there's a lot of people on social media. Basically, it's sports trivia with a geography element where you get basically a globe, and you get five trivia questions, and you are putting the answer where on the globe it actually is. And I've learned very quickly, Ben. Before we do this, how good are you at this? Because the,
I'm pretty
the
good.
the
Yeah, I'm pretty.
continental U.S. I'm okay. If it's like an international question, it's probably not going well.
I actually do pride myself on this game, so I want to let's see it.
All right, so I will read these questions for the fine folks who are listening, just so they're not just completely in the dark for the next few minutes. So today's round, we're going to start with the first question. Michael Jordan was born in this major city before growing up in North Carolina. I'll be honest, Ben, I don't
He's
know.
from New York.
Okay.
Now, this is where I struggle a little bit. I don't when we're trying to get exact dots, we're struggling. We're going east to where your cursor is. Come on, dude. Go south. It's on the
It's
water.
like it's like right there,
Keep going.
right?
No, go closer to the water. It's right on the water, dude. It's right next
Okay.
to Jersey.
Right there. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, we were even further south than that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it was a
knew
little
we I
further
knew we
south.
were
98 points. I think that's a fine start.
all right.
All
We
right, the
should put this
next
game
one.
together every day, Jordan.
Yeah, let's do that. That'll be a new. If you subscribe to the Junkyard, we will DM you the video of us playing and arguing the whole time.
Okay.
All right, second question. Before Paul Skeens won a national title at LSU, he was a two-way player at this service academy. I know this one,
Yeah.
Ben, but do you?
I do. Air Force. Now, what I don't know is exactly where it is in Colorado, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
see, and this is kind of funny that this is now a game, because something that's always been funny with my dad and me is he will just like I'll be like, "Hey, we're going, Georgia's going to be playing in Pasadena, and he'll be like, "Well, what part of California?" Like he wants like specifically like where the cities are. Where is Oxford? And I'm like, Mississippi. I'm like, I don't know on a map, so I'm like having flashbacks. I kind of lean like northwest.
I was thinking southeast, so we're on the opposite side. I was thinking like maybe just
I don't. I have no idea.
go a little east of that because I feel like we're getting too mountainous there. Oh, that might be fine. I'm fine with that right there.
All right. So just for the folks listening, we're like not quite southwest Colorado, and before I click this is Colorado that I'm over, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're in Colorado.
All right. Here we go.
God, I hope so.
It was a little farther east, but 94 points. That's a fine, showing.
Yeah,
LeBron James and Steph Curry were both born in the same hospital, 39 months apart in this city. I mean, I'm thinking somewhere around Akron, but
I don't know where. I don't honestly know where Akron is. I would just go.
But do we feel good about that with the Steph Curry part of this?
Yeah, it's for sure. It's for sure because I know LeBron and Steph were born in the same hospital in Akron or wherever it is in Ohio. But what I don't know exactly is where in Ohio. I would just go middle of Ohio, to be honest with you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
right there. Let's see. Yeah. Middle of Ohio, and it is northeast Ohio.
Well, you should know that. It's up near the lakes.
Hey, I was very mad.
Sorry to anyone from Ohio that we just offended with our inability to know that, by the way.
If we hadn't already offended you, then I'm just thankful for that. All right. This capital's crime rate famously dropped near zero during Manny Pacquiao's boxing matches. I'm imagining it's where Manny's from.
Yeah, he's from Philippines.
Yeah.
Now let's go west. Go west.
Yeah. So go the other way.
Yeah. Well, this is where we learned. This is where
I told you that the international. Now I knew that it was on the other side.
Keep going west. We're going like south of Japan, south of India.
Right there. Yeah.
Let's see here. Yep. All right. That's it right there. Philippines is right there. I would just go somewhere on the water, on the east. Let's go East Coast water. I have no idea for the record. Perfect.
Here we go. Right here.
All right. That's
little northwest, but I think still a good show. Fine. All right. Last question. Diego Maradona led this club to their first 2 Series A championships. Ben, I am of no help to you on this.
Wait, what does it say? The first? Oh, Serie A. That's Italy.
Okay.
Let's go.
First,
like Rome, Italy.
You're saying that like I know where Rome is on.
All right, I'll point it out to you. I was just in Italy, not to brag, but all right, go
flex
south. I don't actually know that he was playing in Rome, but I'm just gonna have it.
It's better than any guess I'm gonna have.
All right, go south. Now go a little west. Go like right on the water as close as you can with the cursor right there. Yeah, boom.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely nailed it, Ben Wolk.
Wow. I mean, that felt like cheating because we got an Italy question right there at the end.
930 out of 1,000, and I can say this: without Ben Wolk, I would not have done that well.
That was great. I would be down to do that with you every single day, Jordan. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
All right, that's all I got.
All right. Wow, that was good. I'm not going to be able to top that one, and I'm going to top it by immediately bringing down the room because the arrow pointing up for me right now is figuring out what George is going to do with quarterback recruiting this cycle because, and we didn't talk about it when we were doing news stuff earlier in the show, but Peter Bork commits to Virginia Tech. Credit to James Franklin and Virginia Tech for winning that recruiting battle. I think that they really made him a priority late. I think that they got aggressive in a way that Georgia was not willing to, as we've talked about a bunch, but I think that it's fine. I don't think that Georgia is going to be, they would have liked Peter Bork. Don't get me wrong. We've talked all cycle long about he was the guy that they wanted. I took him with the predict to commit last episode. I had him in my first 2 mock classes. Like that was all done with knowing that like Peter Bork is the guy that Georgia's really aiming for. There are going to be other options. You know, we've talked about some of these guys that are committed. Tennessee quarterback commit Derek Baker from Milton High School. I'm actually going to go see him play in a scrimmage tonight. Jamison Roberts from Alabama. He is committed to Oklahoma right now. Keegan Croucher is committed to Ole Miss. Like these are all names that I think that will be getting evaluated, and Georgia's not in a rush to figure it out. There's also the one uncommitted guy that you took on your predict to commit team last episode as well, Colton Nussmeier. And I think that as Georgia evaluates options, he could easily be the person that the Bulldogs end up pressing for. I also think that there will be other names that come about that we just haven't talked about because, again, now that Georgia has not gotten Peter Bork and gotten its guy, I don't think that they feel like they need to snap their fingers and have the quarterback situation figured out before official visit season starts. So I think that that's now something that they will figure out throughout the summer, maybe even into the senior year of some of these guys. But yeah, once again, we're covering a Georgia recruiting cycle where quarterback recruiting is interesting. And that's happened for a lot of these cycles since I've been covering Georgia recruiting, and that's not changing this cycle. And look, Jaden Wade's going to be coming in town this upcoming weekend as well. So maybe hopefully for Georgia's sake, it doesn't really get interesting with 2028 recruiting at quarterback. Hopefully that one's pretty straightforward.
I get the frustration from Georgia fans when it comes to the quarterback situation, swinging and missing on a few guys the last few years. I will say this. I feel like you should consider that they've got Jaden Wade committed. I think if they don't have Jaden Wade in that 28 class, I'd be more prone to be like, all right, if you are frustrated and like worried, I can kind of see where you're at. But having Jaden Wade, I think that should, in my mind, kind of calm down folks just a little bit. Again, I know why they're frustrated, but that helps for sure.
It also goes back to the column that I wrote after the Jared Curtis situation unfolded. And it's like, I get it. Everything hasn't been, nobody realizes it more than me how rocky some of these recruiting moments have been from a quarterback standpoint. But you're getting as consistent of a quarterback play year in and year out at Georgia as you really are anywhere. And I know sometimes people want to see this number one overall quarterback type in Athens. Like they want someone that can just completely take over a game. But like you look back at the last, I don't know, other than 2020, dating back to 2017, Jake Fromm, Stetson Bennett, Carson Beck, now Gunnar Stockton. You're not getting a team in college football that's had that consistent of a run of quarterbacks that can consistently win you games the way that Georgia has. And so I caution people not to freak out too much because it's like Georgia's not going to be trotting out a quarterback that can't get the job done. If they feel that they're in a situation where that's going to be the case, like I promise you, Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo are going to figure it out. Like they're vetting these transfer portal options every single cycle. They've just never felt the need to go and make that 1 year splash transfer portal ad because they've always felt confident in what they have in the quarterback room. And I think that that's still the case, and that will continue to be the case. All right, my other arrow pointing up is just the rest of Scavenger Hunt weekend. I know that we talked about the official visitors earlier in the show, and that's going to be the focal point because it's official visit season. But in many cases, who Georgia brings on as unofficial visitors is just as important or even more interesting than who they bring as official visitors, because those guys are just wanting to come up to Georgia on an unofficial visit that one last weekend before their official visits start. And so I'll start with Joakim Gouda out of McEachern High School. He's the top linebacker that Georgia wants in this class. Like this is Georgia versus Texas versus Florida versus Auburn. It's a typical SEC recruiting battle nowadays. And Georgia really wants this guy. I really like where Georgia is with this guy right now too. And so this is him getting on campus this weekend is an interesting one. Offensive line, Georgia's not bringing any offensive linemen in on the official visits. And I'll add this too, like, for those that don't know, the way Scavenger Hunt works is these guys get an opportunity to go around on golf carts all around campus, check out some of the historical elements of campus, some of the cultural elements of campus, like figure out what it's like to actually be at Georgia. They learn a lot more about the university and the campus and the program during that. They're not going to need to bring any edges on unofficial visits because they got two. They're not going to need to, and they break it up by position group. And so they're not going to need to bring linebackers. They're not going to need to bring wide receivers, but all these other position groups are going to want to have some guys that they're bringing around on the Scavenger Hunt. Offensive line, Jordan Agbanoma out of Grayson High School, JJ Brown out of Parkview High School, and then Kelsey Adams, who's currently committed to Georgia right now, out of Langston Hughes. Three major ones after the spring eval period. I think, they want to hold on to Kelsey Adams in a big way. I think that JJ Brown and Jordan Agbanoma have risen pretty high on the board in terms of how badly Georgia wants them. Adrian Cole is a safety that we've mentioned time and time again that I don't want to say I think Georgia leads, but they're in that lead group with Ole Miss and LSU. Florida's maybe in there a little bit too, but I think that that's someone that I just keep defaulting to making sense in Georgia's class, and him getting on this unofficial visit is a big one. Caden Fife. I went out and saw him on Monday. He's a Tennessee defensive line commit. Tennessee was out to see him that day that I was out there. He goes to Chattooga High School in Northwest Georgia, and he actually doesn't have a Georgia official visit scheduled. He took the Georgia official visit for May 29th off the schedule. I think that was a little bit of a mutual decision, perhaps just based on his timeline of when he'd like to make final decisions. So it's not out of the question that Georgia could end up adding an official visit. But the fact that he's likely getting on an unofficial visit this weekend is notable to me. And so we'll see what comes of that and whether Georgia gets back on his official visit schedule after he was on campus. And then it's big for the 2028 class too. Jaden Wade, Casey Barner, Bennett Conyers, Kevin Hartsfield, Jaleel Goley, Asa Wall, who's committed to Georgia right now as well. Like, they're trying to get their elite 2028 targets on campus, and they're doing that.
I was gonna ask you, Ben. It feels like they've done scavenger hunt for a while now. I had a few ideas I'm gonna pitch you of kind of switching things up going forward. And if anyone from Georgia's listening, feel free to take any of these ideas. All right, the first one, I think this is the one I like the best. Game day all day. So they like do what like a typical Saturday in Athens would be like for the team. Like have the pregame meal and the meeting. They bus them over to Sanford. They've got their parents like lined up for the dog walk. They go in, they go through the game. You could even do afterwards, you could pull those players, maybe get those glory guys to interview them like we do after games. They kind of get that feel for it. I don't know if maybe you'd want to like throw in like a game day setup too, like college game day out there on Myers Quad, but so that was one of the
I
options.
thought for a second you were going to say that you were going to be the one doing the post-game interview. I was like, yeah, Jordan, that'll really sell them on Georgia, is them doing an interview with us.
Yeah, maybe keep me away from that one. My other one, and it's very much in the scavenger hunt realm, but everything school. And basically, you go around the campus. You start at the new track. You kind of show them the track and field
Which, very cool, by
complex.
the way. Saw that this week. You were over there too. Very cool facility.
Very much enjoyed that. You pop over to soccer and softball. Then you go more onto campus and you go to Ramsey for swimming, and then go to Stegman and see basketball, gymnastics, go to baseball, and then, of course, finish things off in Sanford Stadium. And then I'm calling this one You're in the Game. So you kind of set these guys up. You create their players, in the college football game. You could really one of two options. You could pull it up where they could play on the big screen, the Jumbotron in Sanford, or I don't know how this would look, but I don't know if you saw a big part of Jaden Daniels' development. He used a lot of virtual reality where like he was actually playing, like he put on the goggles and it's like you're in a game. You do something like that with the players playing for Georgia and kind of sell, give them a chance to sort of see what it looks like in Sanford. What do we think of any of those ideas, or do you got anything you would switch it
Well,
up for?
I'm not even going to try and replicate some of these. I mean, you're the ideas guy. I think we know that at this point. Like, you're the ideas guy. But I do. I mean, you should maybe send a little letter to Kirby or something like that. Maybe get on. Maybe are you trying to get hired by Kirby? Are you trying to get Kirby to steal you away so that you can sort of lead the recruiting charge moving forward?
Josh Brooks, call me.
Call me. And I'll do a little arrow pointing down, I guess you could say. I should call it out just because it's been a little while since we've done some recruiting episodes. Cornerbacks, Dante Wright and Jerry Outhouse have both decommitted. Dante Wright's now in Miami's class. Jerry Outhouse is now in UCLA's class. And then Aiden Starling is also decommitted as a wide receiver in Georgia's class. I think LSU, Arkansas are a couple schools that are in the mix there. I think Arkansas is probably who I would lean toward at this point in time. Dante Wright is the most disappointing loss of that group. I mean, it's a top 10 player in the country. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the country. He has a really strong personal family relationship with Dante Williams. So I think that one stings a little bit if you're in the, man, I really want relationships to still matter in this business world, but they do still matter. It's just there are times where They don't matter enough. And that's just how it is. Unfortunately, that's the way of the world. But I think that Georgia's going to be just fine at cornerback. I like the way that some of their options are shaping up and the pool of players that they have to choose from going into this summer. And then, like we've talked about with wide receiver, Georgia's cast such a wide net at wide receiver that I don't think they'll have any problem.